welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going through every single book I read in the month of March. March was a month that I feel like was not my best reading month. I feel like I haven't had a bad reading month like this one in, I would say, like maybe like half a year. So I was a little disappointed because I did want to read a lot of books this month and I only ended up reading 7. So I mean, that's still a lot, but yeah, it's storming outside, so if you hear any thunders, that's why. I'm also gonna be doing my April TBR in this video because I did not make one for April, and honestly I feel like every time I make TBRs I'm like, who are you trying to kid? Who are you trying to kid? Like, come on, you're not gonna stick to it. You're not gonna stick to it. You're just gonna read, because I'm someone that reads like on my, like based on my mood, and if I am not in the mood for a book, I don't care if I have to read it or not, I will not read it. I refuse to. So it's really hard for me to stick to my TBRs, but I do like to have like an idea of what I want to go for that month, and obviously I do have a lot of library holds. So yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna do the TBR in this video at the end, so stay tuned for that if you want to see that. As always, if you're new, hi, my name is Suhail and I make videos about books. Sometimes I react to BTS because BTS is like, you know, my life. Okay, not my life, I have a family, okay, but you know what I mean, like after my family, like that's where BTS is at. So if you like BTS and books, this is probably the perfect channel for you. So yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So the first 3 books I read were the Last Hour series, and I have a whole vlog that I just uploaded on Thursday, so I will link that up in the cards. The first one I read was Chain of Gold. This one, I liked it a lot. I feel like it was great to get into the world, especially like coming from someone, is that how you say it? Coming from someone has never read anything Shadowhunter or like Mortal Instruments or anything like that. Honestly, nothing Cassandra Clare. So I feel like it was a good book for me to like familiarize myself with the world and with the characters. And even though I feel like there was a lot of things that I didn't understand, because clearly I have not read anything before this, I still feel like it wasn't like, what I did not understand wasn't important enough for me to like not enjoy the book and the story in this series. In this book, I fell in love with Cordelia, and I don't know if it was in this one or the next one, but like I did like Matthew a lot. And yeah, a very good book, like to get into the story. I feel like it was perfect. It was perfect. I rated that one 4 stars, I think. And then I have Chain of Iron. This one is my favorite one from the series. I feel like we got a lot of, like, I was already like into the world and into the story, so like here it was more action, but not necessarily like battles or anything like that, but like there was more going on. And I feel like it was perfect. It was like, I feel like the series as a whole is a little bit like, there's a lot going on, so I did have a hard time like keeping up with like the characters and the powers and like the rules and like, you know what I mean, like anything like that, because I came in fresh from not knowing anything. I feel like it was still enjoyable, and yeah, I love this one. I loved the storyline with Jesse and Lucy. I feel like that was like my favorite storyline, because I really didn't know what was gonna happen and like if they were gonna be able to do whatever they wanted to do. And yeah, I love this one a lot. This was definitely my favorite from the series. I rated that one 4 stars as well. I think it was like 4.5, but yeah. Anyways, then I read this one. This is Chain of Thorns. This is the cover that's inside the dust jacket. This is the original cover, and this one, okay, I had a good time reading it, but I feel like after the first 2 books, I was expecting this to be, you know, like to blow me away, and it didn't. So even though I really did like the story, and I feel like I got everything I wanted. I said that in my vlog. I got everything I wanted, but the way it was delivered to me, it wasn't like, it didn't hit the spot. I feel like once you read books, like they either hit the spot or not, and I feel like this one didn't. Like, I don't know what makes them hit the spot, you know what I mean? Like, I can't verbalize why it didn't, but I feel like I did not get what I wanted. Like, I wanted more, and I cannot verbalize what I wanted. I just know it was more, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just feel like it was too long, and like I love the illustrations. I feel like that was like my favorite part of this book, the illustrations. I feel like it was too long, and I feel like, honestly, I feel like the whole series could have been summarized in no, maybe like in 3 books, but like still like a little bit shorter, you know what I mean? There wasn't that much filler, so it was just like, okay, I feel like reading this series made me realize that even though I like having a lot of characters, there's a number of like, there's like a limit, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in here we have 10 people. I feel like I'm missing Thomas, so that's 11. Yeah, 10, that's 11 of like the main characters without like Tatiana, Belial, freaking Tessa, Will, you know? Like, I feel like it was just a lot of main characters. I don't mind that many characters, but I feel like for me to like be able to get hooked and obsessed with characters, I feel like because there was so many, it was really hard to tell their full story like in a detailed version. So I feel like I wasn't as invested into them as I thought I would, or as I've been before with other characters. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish it was shorter, but at the same time, I feel like if in this much, you know, book, she was not able to get too in depth about the characters, you know what I mean? And that's why I cannot verbalize why I did not like it, because what else did I want? For the book to be longer? Absolutely not. I wanted it to be shorter. So like, I feel like my expectations are a little bit unrealistic, I guess. It's just, I guess, like not a story for me. Like, I should look more into, I mean, I don't know, because in Akatar, there was a lot of character. It was just like not that many. I mean, the main characters were just Farah and Rhysand. Is that how you say it? Reese. Anyways, so yeah, I just feel like we did obviously have main characters like Cordelia and James, but at the same time, I feel like all of them were important. You know what I mean? Like, regardless, like, I feel like they all play a big part of the story, versus like in Akatar, it was like, yeah, they are a part of the story, but the story is still based on like Rhysand and like Farah's, especially Farah's like journey, and then Rhysand kind of like helping her and guiding her through the journey. So we were more able to like focus on them too and getting to know them deeper. And then like in Silver Flames, we got Nesta and like her backstory and all that. Obviously, I'm still waiting for what's her name, the other sister, I forgot, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm still waiting. I'm gonna read that book, but I like that like every single like book is dedicated to like one character, and I can just focus on that, versus here it's like so much going on, and like, I don't know, it wasn't for me. Okay, it wasn't for me. I rated it, this one, 3, so like 4 and 3 stars. So it's still not like a bad series. I will definitely recommend it, but I feel like I would ask questions before I recommend it. Another book that I read a man called, I used to say Ovi, but it's Ove. So sorry about that if you guys cringed at my previous videos when I said Ovi. I'm sorry. This one, I feel like if you like stories about older people who, like, we saw his journey through life when he met his wife and their relationship, and I feel like that aspect of it was really good. I feel like I was supposed to get like attached to like the relationship that Ove had with the family that came into his life, but I still feel like, I mean, I didn't finish it. I'm just gonna say that I forgot to say that. I did not finish it. I think I DNF'd at like 80%, because honestly, if at 80% I'm not invested in the story, I honestly don't care about, you know, the ending. Like, I don't care what happens to him, and like, maybe I should have read that, like read what happened in the ending before making this video. But yeah, I just take what I say with a grain of salt, because again, I did not finish it, but I did read 80%, and I feel like that's a lot. Yeah, I think I rated it 3 stars, because I still, even though I DNF'd it, normally like if I DNF a book, I will rate it either 2 or 1 stars. But this one, I feel like because I read a lot of it, I do appreciate the story, and I can see how some people might like it. It was just not for me, I guess. Or maybe like it just wasn't for me at the moment, because another book I read this month was kind of like along the lines of like older people, you know, like thinking about their whole life, and like give like a book that kind of like is a fiction book, but it still gives you like some life lessons or like things to think about as someone who's like younger. And yeah, I just feel like that's what I thought about this book. And yeah, I can't even tell you that much about it. Honestly, I don't remember a lot. I feel like I was in a slump too when I read it. That's why I said, like, I think I might have picked it up at the wrong moment. And the Last Hour series put me in a slump. So I had also planned to read all of Frederick Backman's books this month. I'm not doing that. I wasn't able to do it because I was not mentally there. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read all of them, maybe 1 or 2 a month. I mean, I have 4 of them, so I only have 3. So maybe like in May wrap-ups, I'll have like more of a overall video about Frederick Backman and all of his books, and be able to like enjoy them versus like forcing myself to read something for a video. Again, I'm new to booktube, so I feel like it's easy to see people making videos like, oh, I read one author in 1 week. Like, it's easy to see that and be like, oh, that will be cool. But like once you're in it and you're like forcing yourself to read books that you're not in the mood for, it can make it like into a negative experience, you know what I mean? And I want to genuinely enjoy these books, so I'm not gonna force myself to read like them back to back. But I will be doing a overall video about Freddy PacMan, and this one's gonna be included, and I'll make sure that I finish it so that I can, you know, give you some details about what happens at the not what happens at the end, because I don't want to spoil it, but like give you a better review of this book. So I am not like a huge Tessa Bailey fan. I don't see, like, I feel like her books can be very cringy, and this one I read or I listened to like on the way to North Carolina. I went to my in-laws for the weekend, and like last weekend, and it's like a 3-hour drive, so I listened to it on the way there. I really enjoyed this story, but I feel like it was so freaking cringe. Like, okay, like for example, like she starts writing letters to him anonymously, and I feel like that is so freaking cringe. Like, that is so freaking cringe. I would never ever like write, like, I like stories where like there's letters going back and forth, but I feel like I will like it more like if you send letters without knowing each other, you know what I mean? Like in Punk 57, is that the name of the book? You know what I'm talking about? Like they're like pen pals before they meet, but like if you're doing it after you meet and you're actually getting to know him, like you're in person getting to know him, but then sending him letters anonymously, that's a little bit cringy. I would never. No, you know what I mean? So I feel like it was very cringy, but I did like her personality, and I liked her more than him. Like, okay, so she's a thicker girl, and I'm bisexual, and I feel more attracted. Obviously, I'm married. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm out here fucking checking out like girls all the time, but I do find thicker girls more attractive. So there's a lot of body description in this book. I feel like he was very into the fact that she was thick, and like she's a flower, how do you say that? She has like a flower shop, whatever, and she came to plant some bushes in his house, and she was like bending over and he was talking about it, and I was like, Julian, you're gonna make me fall in love with her, not you, and I'm supposed to be into you, you know what I mean? Like, that's, I feel like, how I felt. I was head over heels for her, and him, it was just like, okay, go, you know what I mean? Like, he was kind of bland. Like, it was kind of like Grumpy Sunshine. Like, she's sunshine, he's grumpy, but it did make it hard for me to like be into him and like root for them together, you know what I mean? And yeah, I really liked it. I feel like the story was great. I think I gave it like 4 stars. So yeah, because it was like a hit or miss with her, I decided to try this one, and I really enjoyed it. Not enough for me to buy it, but it was good to borrow from the library, and I feel like it was a great palate cleanser. Do you say that when you're talking about books? You know what I'm talking about? Like, after going through like the Last Hour series and being like in a little bit of a slump, I wanted more of a like relaxed, not so serious like type of story, and I feel like this one was perfect. Then I read Remarkably Bright Creatures, and this one I've been meaning to read for so long, and I feel like I'm so glad that I finally gave it a chance. I gave it 4 stars. Honestly, I would have given it higher, but I feel like, you know how I said that like the Last Hour series didn't hit the spot like I wanted to? That's what happened with this one. Like, it was great and I loved it, but I wasn't like thinking about it for days or anything like that, like it happens to me with other books. So I gave it 4 stars. In this one, like, it's very much like an older lady. We have like the story of the older lady who is Toya, I think it's her name, Toya and Cameron. Where's Toya? Tova. Anyways, so Tova works in the aquarium, and she has like a friendship with the octopus Marcellus. I'm gonna say Marcellus. So she has a relationship with Marcellus, and even though he's an octopus, okay, when I went into it, I was like, is this gonna be like weird? Because you know like an octopus talking, you know what I mean? But he didn't talk. He can communicate, but he didn't like actually talk, you know what I mean? So it was like a weird relationship, but like they both understood each other, you know what I'm trying to say? So for that reason, I was not cringing. I did find it funny, like at first when they're showing you like the relationship between Tova and Marcellus, like it was funny. Like, thinking about the fact that like an octopus was talking to a human was like hard not to like it was hard to take seriously, you know what I mean? I found it a little bit refreshing, you know what I mean, after going through like the Last Hour series where everything was so serious, you know what I mean, and people were dying and all that. So I really liked that. And then after that we see Cameron, and Cameron is a guy who is looking for his father, and he can't find him, and he has the ring, like the graduation ring that belonged to his father, and that's what he's using to find this guy. So he goes to like the place where Tova lives, and yeah, that's how, I don't want to spoil it, but that's basically like what the story is about Cameron and Tova. And then Tova lost her child like when he was like, I think 18, and she was younger. Obviously she's already like about to be in a home, you know what I mean? Like it's not like she's older, so it was like years ago. And yeah, the octopus basically helps her find out what happened to her son, and then the octopus also helps Cameron find his dad. So yeah, it was really nice. It was so good, and I highly recommend it. It's a really good fiction book. It's like just fiction, like there's nothing, like I can't think of any tropes or anything like to add to it, but yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I think I'm gonna buy that one even though it's a 4 stars, because I like to have books like that in my collection. I feel like they're like good books to pick up like in between like book slumps and stuff like that, when you need like a little bit of a fresh breath of air, you know what I mean? Like grab something that you like, something that's really easy. And yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I cannot rave about it enough. I feel like I read it at the wrong time. I feel like I would have been more excited about it if I wasn't going through a reading slump, but for it to be a reading slump, I do feel like I was pretty excited about it, and I thought about it for like at least a day after. Okay, then I have Mad Honey. I forgot to bring it upstairs. I have it in my bookshelf downstairs, but I have Mad Honey, and this one turned out to be more than I thought. First of all, I think I gave it 5 stars, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, let me see, I can tell you from, yeah, I gave it 5 stars. In this one, we have Lily, Asher, and Olivia. So Olivia is Asher's mom, and she was in an abusive relationship with Asher's dad, and they moved back home, and she is basically like a beekeeper, and he is a very like popular guy in school, and he's like very into hockey and stuff like that, and he's dating a girl named Lily. And Lily and him get really close, and she even meets like Olivia and stuff like that. But then one day Lily is found dead, and Asher is the one that finds her. So whenever the police gets Lily and see that Asher is there, he's the one that's obviously accused of murder. And basically throughout the story, you are like, if you like court cases and like, you know, like murder mystery, you know what I mean, like this is a great book. But I love how like I went into it thinking it was just that, but we did get like a trans experience. Like it was more than that. It was like basically like what it's like to be, not what it's like to be transgender, because obviously you will never know what it's like to be transgender unless you're transgender, like at least to like the full extent of it. But it did give me like a lot of more perspective on things that I already knew, you know what I mean? Like I feel like trans stereotypes and problems are very commonly like known, like very well known, and most of us are very aware of it. But I feel like it was nice to see it in a book and very well explained. I feel like it wasn't like the whole point of the book either, you know what I mean? So it was like a good like different side of the plot that I personally did not even see coming, and I should have known because one of the authors is trans, and I had no idea. And in the back of the book there's even like the picture of them. I had no idea. It's raining, so I'm just gonna move my mic a little bit closer, make sure that we don't get the rain. So yeah, anyways, I was saying that like I feel like this book also, like if you are a mom, it's a different, like it makes you think about things. Like for example, like Liv was put in a very hard position because obviously like at first she was like, my son will never do that, but then throughout the story, all the things that have come out made her question her son's innocence, and even her son noticed. So it was a really hard like position to be in, and obviously as a mom you think like, okay, like if my son ever goes through that, obviously like you are always gonna think he's innocent, but what if he's not, you know what I mean? And it's hard to come to, I just cracked my freaking, I don't know where I stopped. I know that my jaw cracked and I started like talking about that, but I feel like as a mom, obviously at first you are gonna think that your son is innocent, but like once you start thinking, like I don't know how I would deal with it, you know what I mean? I don't know how I would deal with my son. Obviously he's still very young, but once he becomes older, if he's ever accused of anything, like it's gonna be a really hard thing to like, if the person is guilty, you know, how you're gonna deal with that and accept that your son did. I feel like moms can understand what I'm talking about. Like it's like one of those things that like you never really think about, but then the book, you read the book and you're like, what if that ever happened to me? You know what I mean? I don't know. It was amazing. It was great. I feel like the story was always very like I feel like I was very into the book the whole time. Like I was always wanting to know what's happened next. Again, a breath of fresh air after. I feel like this whole video is gonna be me bashing the Last Hour series, but like it's just like the experience is so different reading books like the Last Hour series, especially like back to back, or like reading different books, different genres like mixed up. I feel like that's definitely what I am more into, and this month I was able to like confirm it, and now I know myself better, so I'm not gonna set myself up like I did this month. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought about Mad Honey. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. And then the next book I said I was gonna read this month was The Spiritual Poems of Rumi, and I started it. Y'all love my Pokemon card. Can you tell I have kids? Bookmark. Anyways, this is literally like a card that I just found randomly on the floor. So anyways, I started this, and it's like a lot of poems. I'm gonna read one of them so that you guys can have an idea of what it's like. Like an ant in a wheat harvest, we are happy as long as we carry a load bigger than ourselves. You know, it's like different like short poems, like verses, and they're all like different topics and everything like that. So I feel like I want to read like one per day. I wasn't able to finish it this month because I feel like, or at least like 5 pages a day, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to read it all in one sitting, and I did have the whole month to do it, but honestly I forgot about it until the end of the Last Hour series, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna like read them and kind of like reflect on what I just read like for the rest of the day. I feel like that will be a definitely like better experience than just sitting here and reading the whole thing and then forgetting it, you know what I mean? I feel like that happens a lot with poetry because poetry books are so short and fast to read. I feel like I read them in like one sitting and then I forget about them, you know what I mean? It's different from like a whole story that's like short, because if it's short like a graphic novel, at least it's like a story and you remember, you know, like the timeline. But this is just like different topics and different things and different messages, and like it's not giving me the chance to like reflect on them and actually like enjoy it, you know what I mean? And I really want to enjoy this book. I feel like it has a lot of potential. So yeah, I did not finish it, but I did start it. So yeah, those were all the books that I read this month. Let's get into the TBR. So the first book I'm actually reading right now is Delilah Doesn't Care. I love Delilah and Claire. I feel like I'm a mixture of both because Claire's like a single mom, and obviously I'm not a single mom, but if I'm ever out there in the dating scene, which hopefully not, I will never be because I will be with my husband for life. He's stuck with me for life. Delilah is more like my style, but I feel like the lifestyle that Claire lives, where she's a single mom and she's more like calmed down, I feel like that's more my personality. So I feel like I have like maybe like Claire's personality, but then like my style and like my sense of humor is more like Delilah's. So I'm loving that because I'm loving both characters because I can relate, and there's nothing more that I love in a book than when I can relate, especially if I can relate to everything. So yeah, I am loving this book. It's so entertaining, and like the fact that there's like a wedding and like a crazy like bridezilla and everything, I love. Obviously I'm always on like bridezilla Reddit, so I love me a good bridezilla, you know what I mean? So I am loving this one. Okay, next I have This Woven Kingdom, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea what this is about, but I will be reading it, and it is fantasy. That's all I know. It is fantasy, and I think it's like enemies to lovers, and there's like angst. That's what I think I heard. I think this is gonna be it. I feel like this is the fantasy that I've been waiting for because I read Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior in October and November, and since then I have not found a fantasy series that has hit as hard as that one. I feel like before that one it was Akatar, so you know, I'm ready for my next obsession, and I feel like this one is gonna be it because I love a good angsty enemies to lovers, like, you know what I mean? Especially like if they're trying to kill each other. Like in romance books, obviously there's not like battles or anything like that, so nobody's trying to kill anyone. But in fantasy, I have a feeling that I'm gonna love this book. So I have that one and I have the next one. I don't know when the next one's gonna be available in my Libby app, but hopefully it will be this month. So yeah, I'm excited about this series. I cannot wait. I don't even know if there's a third book. I don't want to know. I want to be like, you know, going into it blindly. I love going into books blindly, and I feel like ever since I started booktube, now I have to read about them so I can talk to you guys about my TBRs, which is another reason why I don't love doing TBRs. I don't like talking about books that I have not read because what am I gonna say, you know? Okay, so the next ones are gonna be from the library. The first one is Belladonna. I don't know what this is about. All I know is that it is a YA fantasy. That's all I need to know. I know that there's a second book. I don't know if it's already out yet, but it will be out this year, and it's pretty big. Like I feel like if you compare like the size, like I feel like there's a lot of space in between the lines and everything, so like I feel like it's gonna be a really fast read, hopefully. But yeah, I think I read about it like when I was looking for my 2023 TBR. That's when I read about what it was about, and I was like, I want to read that, so I put it on hold in my library, but I completely forgot what it was about. So that's one of them. I'm gonna get them all out. Then I have She Is Haunting. This one I wanted to read for obvious reasons. I mean, look at this cover. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But I read that it's a little bit like Mexican Gothic, and I DNF'd Mexican Gothic, so we will see. We will see how it goes. It also doesn't have the best reviews. It just came out too, so it doesn't have that many reviews anyway. So I'm gonna go into it, but I'm not gonna be too upset if I DNF it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like a, you know, like something I'm super excited about. I feel like I was excited about it, and then after I read what people have thought about it, I was like, I'm probably not gonna like it. So I still had it on hold, and when I received the email, I was like, you know what, just pick it up and try it out, and if you don't like it, then DNF it, you'll be okay. Then we have What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez. This one is about a Puerto Rican family, so obviously my Puerto Rican self was like, I need to read this, because any stories about my people, I'm here for it, okay? I mean, she's New Rican. I feel like if you're Puerto Rican, you know, there's a difference between like New Rican and Puerto Rican, like from the island. So, you know, I just love, like, I feel like as a Puerto Rican who was born and raised in the island of Puerto Rico, it's always nice to see like stories about people who are Puerto Rican and grew up in like Puerto Rican neighborhoods in the United States, because I feel like our experience is very much different. It's not the same at all. Not that they are any less Puerto Rican than we are. I feel like a lot of island Puerto Ricans say, oh, you're not real Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Like, you're still Puerto Rican, but it is definitely a different type of Puerto Rican, and we definitely have different life experiences. So this one I think is about a family that's looking for, I just opened it and the first word I read was bitch. There's some cursing. I love it. I love it. So when 13-year-old middle child Ruthie disappeared without a trace, it left the family scarred and scrambling. One night, 12 years later, older sister Jessica spots a woman on her TV screen in a raunchy reality show. She rushes to tell her younger sister Nina. This woman's hair is dyed red and she calls herself Ruby, but the beauty mark under her left eye is instantly recognizable. Could it be Ruthie after all this time? So basically it's about a Puerto Rican family who lost their child, their daughter, when she was 13, and then they saw her on TV, and now, yeah, that sounds very good. And the fact that they're Puerto Rican, again, makes me want to read it even more. So as soon as I saw that this was gonna come out, I put it on hold right away. So this is pretty new, and I think I saw it at the libraries, like on the shelves before it even came out, because I think this came out either in March or it's gonna come out this month. So then I have some manga, and it is none other than Tokyo Ghoul. I am finally gonna read these. I am not done with Spy Family. I am probably gonna read those this weekend. I have, I think, 4 volumes in my library, like loans, so I already have them. I have to read them before I have to turn them back in. So I will be finished Spy Family this month as well, but then after that I'm gonna start with Tokyo Ghoul, because I have read really good things about this, and I feel like most people talk about the series, like the anime, but I'm a manga person, you know what I mean? My brother is an anime person, so we talk about these things. So yeah, I am super excited about it. I feel like it is a lot more creepy than I expected. Like, I have no idea what this is about. I'm not even gonna lie. I have no idea what this is about, but honestly, I saw the illustrations or like the pictures, and it kind of looks like it's gonna be like a little bit like action filled, like kind of gross. Oh, it's a girl that eats bodies, so that explains it. Yeah, I'm here for it. I cannot wait. I actually might read these before Spy Family. I don't know, we'll see. I might have like a whole manga day and then read like 6 volumes in a day or something. And yeah, okay, then I'm gonna do Gone Girl. I think this month I'm gonna be doing the Gone Girl video, so I'm gonna be not rereading because I've never read it. I'm gonna be reading Gone Girl, and then I'm gonna watch the movie and kind of like react to it and like talk about it. So that's a vlog that I'm gonna be doing, and that one I can do because there's only one book, you know. It's realistic for me. So that one I will be uploading this month. And then I will be reading Abby Jimenez's new release. I pre-ordered it, like I bought it because I love Abby Jimenez. I don't even care if I'm gonna like the book or not. I am ready to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, she's one of my favorite authors. So, like, romance authors. So yours truly. And it's like about letters too. I hope they're not like cringy, like Secretly Yours. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anyways, that one I'm super excited about. And I have also a read it and unhaul it. So I don't know what book I'm gonna be picking, but if you guys don't know, I have a little cauldron that I pull names out of, and then I have to force myself to either read the book that came out or unhaul it, and that is a little bit stressful. That stresses me out, honestly. Like, every single time I'm gonna start it, like I'm gonna do a new one, I'm like, do I really want to force myself to read a book that I don't want to read? You know what I mean? So I have to be in the mood for it, but hopefully I can do one this month because I'm trying to do one per month. And yeah, that's like a series that I want to keep up in my channel. So yeah, those are all the books that I'm planning to read. Obviously, like I said, I never stick to my TBRs, so take that with a grain of salt. Oh, I also have The Kind Worth Saving. So that one I picked up in the library. If you guys saw my last vlog that I linked up in the cards, the Last Hours series, I went to the library. And a lot of people are saying that my library is pretty cool. So if you guys have not seen a cool library, check out that video because I didn't know. I mean, this is the best library I've ever been to. I literally cried the first time I went in, but because I was so overwhelmed with how amazing it was. I was talking about The Kind Worth Saving. So in The Kind Worth Saving, I read The Kind Worth Killing. It was my favorite thriller this year so far. And I was ready to go to the next one, and I got to like 25% of it, but I had to turn it in, so I didn't finish it. So now, then I went to my library on post, like in the military base, and they had it, but somebody had the book, so I put myself on hold. So I should be picking it up in the next week or two, and I should be finishing that book this month as well. So yeah, those are all the books that I'll be reading this month and all of the books that I read in the month of March. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you haven't already, of course. Please subscribe, please. Please, I'm begging you. I'm not begging you, but like, you know, it's really nice when you see like new subscribers, you know what I mean? So if you guys are feeling nice, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next one.